there's just so much false information coming from the government. But people knew that it weren't going to be a shy, quiet Welsh boy. They knew it was a terrorist attack, and today we find out they were right.
Breaking right now, there is growing outrage that Axel Rudakubana, the Southport Massacre perpetrator, a man who is clearly evil, a man who I believe is a terrorist, a man who killed those 3 young girls at a Taylor Swift dance class, and a man who we now learn was referred to the Prevent Counter-Terrorism Organisation 3 times, yet nothing was done, has pleaded guilty. But that doesn't mean the focus goes off the government. And what about those poor folk who are currently languishing behind bars in what is meant to be a free country because they happen to send a post on X or Facebook on the day of the Southport Massacre in the heat of emotion, saying something that the authorities considered unpalatable, or in the case of Lucy Connelly, who we see here, illegal. Right now, I'm joined by Raymond Connolly. He is the Conservative politician, the husband of Lucy Connolly, who remains behind bars on what is a very significant day today, Ray, because it is Lucy's birthday. And when you were last on the show, Ray, you thought Lucy might be allowed a Christmas visit. I don't believe that happened. So how was the first Christmas for you and your little girl without your mum?
Yeah, the governor refused leave, although the probation officers, they were very supportive of Lucy and felt that there was not a risk and it wasn't a problem, and that I'd pick her up at 8 o'clock in the morning and she was be back home at 5 o'clock. But they refused her to come home. So on Christmas Day, Lucy rang up and I just put it on loudspeaker with so me and Edie can have a chat with her and the family. So my daughter was happy with that.
Do you think that she is going to be allowed out with an electronic tag anytime soon?
It's quite, obviously Lucy done a freedom of information to get information from the prison, and I was just looking, I only just got it yesterday, but obviously she was sentenced on the 17th.
Yes.
On the 18th, the information goes into the systems for home detention curfew, and on the 18th it was she'd passed automatically eligibility checks on the 18th, but on the 21st it was a manual alteration, and it was put down as presumed unsuitable offence. So, I do know the name of the person who did make that adjustment, but it was a manual change. So, although Lucy was under the impression she had to apply to the governor, and she did, with the backing of the probation officers, both of them were fully supportive of Lucy and didn't feel she would be a risk, and she was easily manageable. It came back as it had been, the governor had refused release on temporary licence for the remainder of the last 6 months of her sentence. So she will have to do the full lot.
It's just crazy. Now, Raymond, you have been subjected to a bit of a witch hunt by the West Northamptonshire Council, despite the fact that you're an elected Conservative councillor. You have been re-selected to fight your seat. Now, I have been told that the council has now employed an external law firm called Bevan Britton to look into these complaints, presumably at the expense of Northamptonshire ratepayers. This is insane, isn't it? This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I thought they could have dealt with it internally, but I assume that they've had some quite big influential people writing to complain about my support for Lucy, to say by supporting her, I was undermining the police, which even was with the police situation, because I know quite a few of them. I was kind of like, oh my God. But they'd text me, some of the low normal police officers, just to say, look, Ray, we've got your back. And even when I was at Tesco's the other day, I see him and going, oh my God. And he come up and like just chatting, sorry, but obviously it's obviously the senior leadership. But I guess some of these people, they're anonymous complaints. So it's just something I'll have to deal with. I have put a freedom of information in to West Northants Council to get as much information as I can before they drop this on me and start for me to make a response to them, which I'll do the best I can. But even then, it's very difficult because obviously, you know, I'm going to support my family. I'm going to support Lucy, the mother of my child, always. But I'm mindful of, you know, I mean, I look at Keir Starmer. I mean, it weren't only a few weeks ago, he's throwing his own son under the bus to kind of dodge an issue. But that's not me. I will hopefully get to the next elections without too much trouble. And I'll let them, the electorate, the residents, decide whether they want someone like me to represent them.
Do you feel that Lucy has been at all vindicated, given the news that we now learn about Axel Rudakubana, given that it is very clear that there was an establishment cover-up about the fact that this guy had been referred 3 times to the Prevent scheme? And I mean, look at this post here on X from the past few minutes. Chris Rose looking at the 2 images and saying you've got the media image, which was there trying to present Axel Rudakubana as some type of angelic schoolboy, versus the mugshot, the real Axel Rudakubana. But first, something really important to talk to you about, actually. Scammers and spammers who are out there to ruin your life. We've all experienced more and more of those spam emails, text messages, and robo phone calls. Not only are they annoying and time-consuming to deal with, but they usually represent a gross invasion of your private information that can cause vast financial and reputational damage. And how the heck did they get your information in the first place? It's likely as a result of data brokers who know everything about you, your health information, relationship status, mortgage details, and so much more, and then sell it for a profit. These data brokers can directly or indirectly expose sensitive information to bad actors, putting you at risk of identity theft. The number of data breaches worldwide rises every year. According to the annual data breach report by the Identity Theft Resource Center, it went up by 72% in 2023 compared to the previous year. This means you and your loved ones are also at a constantly increasing risk of data breaches as a growing list of data brokers hold your personal information. That's then being sold or published without you even knowing about it. Now, the consequence of this can be shocking. Health insurance companies could actually raise your rates based on your online activity. Huge loans have been taken under people's names without them even knowing about it. And scammers have even started to use AI to mimic the voices of friends and family to trick victims into sending them money. These imposter scams rely entirely on the voice data they can find online. While you can ask these data brokers to delete your personal information, the process takes hundreds of hours to do manually and requires repetition. The good news is that today I have a solution for you that I use and personally endorse. Go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off an annual plan right now. Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requests your personal data removal, and handles any objections from their side. And the whole process is automated, ensuring that your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removals and taking down your data again if it pops up. This is what makes the yearly subscription especially advantageous. I do the annual plan, so they're constantly taking me off these lists. It's such a simple process. You simply create an account, grant Incogni the right to work for you, and they will contact the data brokers on your behalf to request your personal data removal. Go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off an annual plan right now. It could be the most important decision you make. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, I just feel if the government were more truthful at the start, it would have calmed all fears. There probably wouldn't have been these, well, so-called these riots and whatever. I really do believe
Yeah,
that.
so-called
And
riots, I call them.
yeah, yeah. But so there's just so much false information coming from the government. There were, but people knew that it weren't going to be a shy, quiet Welsh boy. They knew it was a terrorist attack, and today we find out they were right.
Will you be passing on the information that has emerged about Axel Rudakubana to Lucy behind bars?
Yeah, she'll ring me tonight, and I'll tell her. But she's just more gutted about the families and the children, and even I don't even. I wouldn't. I'd hate for her to be thinking about this today. It really will cause an issue with her. She will get upset about this.
I know, it's just utterly heartbreaking, and
I just
yeah,
awful time for these people.
Of course. Well, look, do pass on my birthday wishes to Lucy. And
Thanks, Dan.
I hope you get through today, Raymond. It's a very difficult one for the entire country, but I really appreciate you being here today. That is Raymond Connolly, the husband of Lucy Connelly, Conservative Party politician, on the day where the truth about Axel Rudakubana began to emerge. And the reason we are here early today for a special live edition of Outspoken is because I refuse to play the establishment game, the game the authorities want us to play, which is look over here, forget about what's happening in the UK, forget about the truth about Axel Rudakubana, and focus entirely on the inauguration of President Trump. Now, of course, the inauguration is a very important moment for the Western world. We will be covering it live on Outspoken from 4:30. But my priority today was to come on air to report the truth about Axel Rudakubana, a man who we now know was referred 3 times to the Prevent Counter-Terrorism scheme. Nothing was done, and yet he went on to murder those beautiful 3 young schoolgirls in Southport. Lots of folk think that what happened could be the end of Keir Starmer's political career, and I certainly think the trust that the public has in him is smashed, if he ever really did have it. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.